Hello. Thought I'd do another quick video. I'm on my break, so I had my lunch earlier, but I've just taken a quick break to get some exercise, and I am on level 3. I don't know if you can see in the background, but there's all these funky seating areas that have got the little TV screens. I think they're for people that have got meetings that aren't like top secret or anything. But look, it's all sort of fairly posh, almost like an airport lounge. I don't actually know who is based up here, but they've got a presentation suite. And down here, where I'm walking now, so there's more of these funky little booth things. I'm going to go in what I can only describe as a goldfish bowl. It's room for one person to sit in, which I'm in now. Let's shut the door. Gosh, I can hear a lift just went. I can sit on this chair. It's wiggling. Whee. And it's very quiet. So to anybody walking past, it just looks like I'm on a video call, I suppose. Hey, look at my hair. Okay, so this week I'm treating like my first week because I've not really been sticking to the plan properly, and as a result of that, I have, but I haven't, if that makes sense. So I would say I would be doing it 50-50 or 60-40 sometimes, and that shows because occasionally I'll get a pound off, sometimes I get a half pound off, and other times I'll gain. So effectively I've been maintaining or gaining. And I'm sick of it now because everything's starting to feel tight and I feel shit. Sorry, I wasn't meant to swear. But let's face it, if you can't cope with that word, then you might as well just do one now. I thought what I'd do, I've looked up some tips, not just to help me, and I thought it might help anybody else who is also struggling like I am. Well, I shouldn't have done that, should I? See what I did there? I just licked my finger. They're clean. And when I open the door, I use my sleeve. Right, let me find my tips. I know it's around here somewhere. Some tips. Okay, are we sitting comfortably? So, I'm going to get told off for putting my feet up. No, she's not saying anything. My top tip, well, not even top tip, it's just a tip. Put me in any order you want. My tip would be, if possible, sorry, it's someone out there. Right, my tip would be, if possible, choose dinners that you liked pre-plan. So this is particularly good if you're just new to the plan. Because I remember when I first started, found it difficult to follow, but I knew I was allowed jacket potato and I knew I was allowed beans. So if I was out, which obviously, let's face it, not many of us are going out and you can't eat out anyway, but I'd choose jacket potato without butter and beans, and it would come with a little side salad, and I'd say no dressing. But when we're at home, obviously we can cook whatever we want and how we want. So I would say choose things that you liked pre-plan, pre-Slimming World, and adapt them to cook in a Slimming World friendly way. For instance, if you're going to have spaghetti bolognese, have spaghetti bolognese, but cook it Slimming World friendly. So with your fry light spray, with 5% or less fat mince, with loads of speed veg in there if you can, tinned tomatoes, bit of puree, loads of herbs, yum yum yum, sorted, pasta free. And the same with like your favourite treat, for instance. It might have been chocolate bar, but there are lots of lower sin chocolate bars that you could swap for. So look out for those. And as we all know, you're more likely to stick to the plan if you're enjoying the food that you're having and it's not all boring, and you vary what you eat. And if you can plan ahead, even better. Keep track of your sins. We all do it. We all go way over, well, I do anyway. I assume anybody that's struggling is going over their sins and pretending that they're not having what they're actually having. So I would say write down your sins at the start. Well, at the start you should be writing down everything, but if you know the plan already, we all know what's free, what's speed. So just write down, if you want to, your healthy extras, but the majority your sins, because it's so easy to go over. I did it the other day with the boys. They had just a trifle from Asda, and the bowl was finished, and Jake didn't quite finish his, so I had a little bit of trifle, and then sort of finishing off the cream from the bowl, just the little bits that are on the edge. But all of that does add up. And if let me think. If you are going to have a treat, and I say a treat loosely, I mean like if you know you're going to be having a takeaway, for instance. Obviously we're not going anywhere at the moment. So if you want to treat yourself with a takeaway, don't deprive yourself of that. Either make a Slimming World one, but if you really don't want to cook or you haven't got time to cook, have the takeaway, enjoy it. But look through the menu, look through the book or online, and choose a lower sin option if you can, if you like those. Like anything in oyster sauce is usually quite good. I mean, I always add for egg fried rice instead of just the boiled rice, but if you had the boiled rice, obviously that would be free. But anything like that, and if you're going to be drinking, I personally would allow about 50 to 60 sins for that one meal, and then deduct that from the weekly amount of sins. So if you're having a full 15 sins every day, I think it works out 105 sins for the week. And then you could reduce how many sins you're having pre and post that day, if that makes sense. So then you're kind of on plan. And even if you go over the weekly allowance of sins, because you've tracked it, it won't be as bad. And the reason why it won't be as bad, I think, is because you're in control. Whereas if you don't plan for it, if you don't sin it, even if you sin it the day after and work out what you had, if you don't do that, then you're probably more likely to feel guilty about it, and you're more likely to think, oh, I've blown it this week. What does it matter if I have a bowl of chocolate cereal? What does it matter if I have this bit of toast with butter on it? So you're more likely to increase the sins. Whereas if you track it, you're in control, and you're probably less likely to go off plan for the rest of the week. Happy days. And you're more likely to be able to maintain or still get a loss. And I have had losses in the past where I've had takeaways, so it is doable. Okay, I've gone off track because that was one of my later tips, but I do like that one. Cheese. Now then, cheese for an A choice. Obviously we're allowed 2 A choices now. And I can't remember how much you're allowed, because obviously it's dependent on what cheese you're having. But if you're having a cheddar cheese and you're grating it yourself, and you're not lazy like me buying it ready grated, but if you're grating it yourself, grate it on the finer side, so you get the really fine cheese. You'll get a massive pile. And even though it's the same weight, it goes a lot further. So it feels like you're having a lot more, even though you're not. Increase your movement. In these times of lockdown, we don't move enough. I certainly don't. And so what I've started to do just this week, I keep rubbing myself. in these days of lockdown, what I've started to do in this last week is to move when I'm cooking. So that just means, well, I can't really show you because I can't get the thing away, but I'm sort of moving my feet a little bit. I might do a bit of this, you know, put some music on if possible, do a little bit of dancing. If you can't do that or you feel stupid doing that, you know, who cares, no one can see you. Just get up and down. If you've got a garden, walk up and down your garden. If you can go for a walk, go for a walk. But yeah, if you're indoors, even if you're just watching telly, maybe just do a few stretches, kick out your legs every now and then, because any movement is going to be a bit of exercise, and any exercise is good body magic. And I think it will have an impact, particularly if you're still sticking to the same portion sizes that you were having pre-lockdown. Because if you're not moving, as a consultant said in my last group, if you're not moving as much as you were because you're not going out to the places that you used to go out to, not doing your daily Monday walk, or going to the shops as regularly as you used to. I mean, I'm not even just like the things like the school run. Even though it's a short walk, still a couple of times a day, just little things like that. And you're still having the same portion size, then obviously you're going to be having more calories than you really need. So, move. Let me see. Now then, this tip, I think, as we all know, the more speed you choose, the more you lose. So I try to put at least 5 speed foods on my dinner plate, in my food, and if possible on the side, if it goes, you know, either within the dinner or on the side. Now, we're told that you should, even if you've got it in your dinner, you should have it on the side as well, just to ensure you are having a full third at least of speed. Now, if you're having, say, a pasta dish, onions, garlic, mushrooms, peppers, courgette if you want, tinned tomatoes, that'd be 6. There's your 6 speed foods there. And then have it with your pasta, maybe have some broccoli on the side, then you're whacking in a load of speed food there. Try and do that as much as possible, and you'll be smashing it with your speed food. If you live on your own, do not buy unhealthy snacks. Don't do it. You don't need them, and it will just be tempting. If you don't live on your own, and you have to buy these things like I do for my kids, and they like to have their sweets, and luckily I don't like sweets, but they like to have their chocolate bars, their popcorn, all the lovely naughty things that are high in sins. Put them in a different drawer or a different cupboard or on a different shelf to where you keep your treats, your low-sin crisps, your low-sin chocolate bars, your low-sin hi-fi bars. If they're in a different space, then you're less likely to be tempted to go to them. And if you still think you would be tempted, try to think of it, lock it away as that's theirs, I can't have it. If I have it, I'm depriving them. Think of it like their medication. You can't have the kids' medication, right? So don't touch it. Have your own treat boxes. Maybe even prepare all your sins. Have it. I'm not that organised, but if you wanted to, have your sin box so it's got all your treats for the day in there. And once it's empty, it's empty. And on the sin front, I would say save some sins for the evening, particularly if you're someone who gets the munchies in the evening, and you fancy a treat. If you save some sins, then you won't be going over or being naughty, and you'll still be in control. Have I covered everything? I think so. Yep, pretty much covered everything that I could think of there. And yeah, just don't be hard on yourself if you do go over or have a slip up, because you're human and we do all need to have a life. We've only got one. Might as well. Well, I believe we only got one, so you got to live it and you got to enjoy it. But equally, we want to lose weight, and that's what we're part of Slimming World for. So I hope that's helped. I pledged this week to lose 4 pounds because I'm treating it like a first week. With my premise being, I don't expect to lose that at all, to be fair, but because I've been so bad, my premise was if I aim for 4, then it'll make me work harder to try and get that 4, and even if I don't hit it, I'm likely to get a loss. That's my premise. It doesn't work for everyone. Some people feel like it's too much pressure to put a big target, but I just thought I'd give it a go and see what happens. Yeah, and the other thing I need to start doing is to measure my wine intake, either not to have it or to actually physically measure it. I used to put it into a jug and measure it out so I'd know exactly how much I was having, and I haven't been doing that lately. So, and that has shown, because obviously I would be getting results and I'm not. So yeah, fingers crossed. I can do it. And I want everybody else to be losing as well, so that when we all see each other, we're not going like this. Hi. We can go, hi. We can get our arms right around each other. Well, oh, you've done well. Well, I don't want to be like that anyway. Oh, and the other thing I thought of, I didn't write it down, but try and stick to a routine. So get dressed. I mean, have a wash, obviously. Get dressed. And I think as well, you should, I don't know if this is sounds dodgy. Okay, so don't be lazy with your hygiene or your, how can I put this? So for instance, obviously lockdown, we're not going out, I haven't been getting my legs out, not going swimming or wearing shorts other than just in the garden. So haven't been shaving as often as perhaps I might have done. But I've changed my view on this because it makes you feel a bit more human if you have shaved. Well, it did me anyway. I'm not going to lie, I couldn't tell the difference between nunny hair and leg hair, so have a good shave. That's all I'm saying. It'll make you feel better. Maybe put some perfume on if you don't already. Anything that makes you feel good normally, do it, but don't do it if it's going to make you fat. Yeah, so just try and stick to a routine. Get up, maybe go for an exercise. Actually, if you can exercise in the morning, that's really good because it, I can't think of the word, but it boosts you, basically. It boosts your mood. And anything that can boost our mood in these times of crisis is a good thing. So get on and stick to plan and have a good week. Have a good loss. Let's see what we get. And give me some tips. I need tips. I've only found a few. I don't know if they're any good. So let me know what you think. And I'm going to go and finish my exercise now. And if I come across anything interesting, I might show you some of the meeting rooms, just some of the names of them. I will do another quick video just to show you the meeting rooms so you can have a nose. Bye all.